everybody, it's Romania Black, and who's ready for DJ Shindig? We're on episode 14 of To Be Hero X, and DJ Shindig may be my new favorite. I'm just the ridiculousness of it all, the disco of it all. I am here for it. But we are on episode 14, and when we last left off, we met a new hero. We met her. She's trying to be not defined by her cuteness in being a hero, and is just persevering through all the strife that's connected to it. I'm surprised Mickey hasn't tried to pick her up yet. But anyway, we are in episode 14, and so far she's joined Glimmer and teamed up with Xiaodong, and also made friends with the woman that she saved in the alleyway, and they've all formed this friendship, and there's this mysterious stalker, and they might be DJ Shindig, they might be somebody else. There's lots of mystery going along with this, but I'm really excited to see what our girl Lily is going to do this episode. So I've got a couple comments to talk about with you all for episodes 11 and 12 before we start this episode and see what happens to our girl Lily, aka Lolly. Potater on Discord did share this with the mod's approval. Another thing I wish was better represented in the Lucky Cyan arc was that her luck is also associated with the color cyan. It maximizes her luck. Mickey briefly referenced it, but it's not in a way that is easily understood. That's why all of Cyan's tools are green, and anyway, why she was able to dodge the Dean after using the spray. It was mentioned in an interview by Howlin after the arc. Well, that's nice. I'm glad that they're at least like doing this. I don't know. Some of the this is not an equatable comparison, and I know people may take it the wrong way, but what I mean by it is it's giving. This person's very controversial, so it's giving kind of J.K. Rowling Twitter a little bit, and I don't like J.K. Rowling. I think her opinions are very transphobic and awful, especially once but it's one of those things where you read the books, and then you get on and you're like, oh, wow, okay, and then you get on social media to see, like, what she says afterwards, and you're like, So, but it's not really that. It's just one of those situations where I don't want to have to go to the Twitter to read the after stuff to get the information about the series. It's not a good comparison. That's not a good metaphor. But anyway, I'm glad to know at least that Lucky Cyan's color was relevant in the arc. So that's good. Anyway, so thank you, Potater, for sharing that insight. Conclasher for episode 11 says, I always found this episode great as it's the first one to properly start connecting a bunch of storylines. It's also crazy to see everything line up perfectly for Queen to become X, both her public image and her insane voice abilities, just for X to come out of nowhere and win the match instantly. Yeah, girl spent so many years setting things up, and then right when it was in the palm of her hand, X was like, man, I kind of want it. So that's crazy. Amp Lee 4699 as well for episode 11 says, the way I see Queen's logic, since her power is controlling people and things, as you said, being X would mean gaining the most trust value out of all the heroes. As has been established, the more trust value you have, the more powerful your powers can be. So Queen being X would mean her powers of control and order would allow her to change major rules of the world. Yeah, that makes sense. It's very depressing to see her have a very clear goal and understand how the mechanics of the world work and be totally ready for it all to go down. And then this random nobody comes in and prevents you from doing it. I can see how frustrating that would be. And then No Cover for episode 12 says, when watching, I was wondering what the hell Boa was doing for 2 years. I kind of came to the conclusion that she was just isolated and training herself for the fight. But yeah, that's an odd one. I could definitely see Boa training throughout the entire arc. It's just very weird that she was in a major corporation, and even though Mickey was pretty obsessed with Queen, Boa was his cash cow, and it's like you didn't pay attention to her mental decline slightly, especially when she started dropping in ranks. Suspect. But anyway, those are the only comments that I had that were worth noting with you all. But you all had some really, really good comments. So thank you so much for speaking up and talking in the comments section. It's been very fun. Those of you that weren't spoiling or trying to offer hints and clues, it's been fun reading your comments and talking with you all. So please keep that up, because this series definitely warrants a decent amount of dialogue, right? So anyway, that's all I got. We are going to get started here and see what our girl Lily has to deal with DJ Shindig. I'm so ready, y'all. We're going to start episode 14 of To Be Hero X, and we are going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's see what we get. DJ Shindig, no! Oh my gosh, wow. So I really liked this episode. This episode was great, and this arc has turned out to be a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. I am very curious about some things, and also basically aliens. Of course it's basically aliens. Why are we surprised at this point? Very Superman-esque, very Superman Clark Kent coming from Krypton. Very interesting indeed. I think we should just go through this episode in chronological order from start to finish and talk about it because there's a lot going on. Whiteboard Coon's gonna have to jot down a couple things. I didn't know if I should bring Whiteboard Coon out, and I was like, no, there's too many other things going on here in 3, 2, 1 that we need to talk about. Some mystery still. I think Ghostblade is the creeper, but I'm like, but why? But why is Ghostblade the creeper? That is the question of the day. So, speaking of which, why is NuoNuo being targeted? That is a very real question. Because we have NuoNuo, we have a picture of her right here talking to somebody, and then we have a picture of her at this music store. There's a part of me that thinks that it's going to be something like that this guy's just a creep and he likes her and he's targeting her and stalking her because he's just that kind of a creep. But then I'm like, is that really all they're going to do? Or is there going to be something else like that she's involved with that they're curious about? Because what else could it be? And why are you in seemingly like a child's bedroom? And why does this look like a replica of her room? Maybe. I don't know. Why do you have all of these like trails and everything? And you have, okay, so there's a shot of her working out alongside Loli. So then what do we get here? Why are you tracing her routes, her steps, everything? What's going on with that? And then the phone and everything. I feel like this is Ghostblade. I feel like they have the exact same hairstyles. That it's Ghostblade. Why is everything in black with him? And why are you in a child's bedroom? What is going on? Unless Ghostblade, I guess the big question is like, is Ghostblade in like, but the bulletin board is made in the bedroom. So it's like, why does your bedroom look like this? Or if this isn't your bedroom, who are you trying to track down someone that is stalking her? Like what? I mean, it could be a red herring and Ghostblade or whoever the stalker is. They might not be the same person. I think they're the same person. But maybe the stalker has found this bulletin board that's tracing all her movements. And so they're trying to investigate to see what's going on. But then why would they lunge at her with the knife? It's so like, what is going on? What is happening? So there's mystery with Ghostblade. And there's mystery with this creeper. Like, because then she says he's a real creep. And he's just sitting there breathing like, what the fudge? What is going on? What is happening? Why are you feeding into this? I don't know. The mystery of the stalker and the creeper looking after NuoNuo, I don't know what's going on with that. So that's going to have to remain a mystery for the moment until we get more with that. However, we go back now. Do I ship Loli and NuoNuo? Very much so. I'm amazed our girl was not controlled. I thought one of the plot points in this episode was that DJ Shindig was going to take control of NuoNuo and have her attack Loli. I thought that was going to happen. I would have bet money this episode and lost because I'm a terrible gambler. I would have bet money that NuoNuo was going to get taken control of by DJ Shindig, especially once we figured out what his powers were, which, we're going to talk about that. But as soon as that happened, I thought, okay, she's going to get taken over by DJ Shindig. She's going to attack Loli. Loli's going to have to decide, like, does she hurt NuoNuo or does she let him accomplish his goals? And it was going to be a thing. No, that ended up not happening at all. So I guess kudos, show, for defying expectations. I don't know why he has her number and why he's calling. I don't understand. Yeah. And then I'm with Loli. If this is Ghostblade, ew. If this is someone else, ew. Even if it's a red herring and they turn out to not be a threat, it's still very creepy and I don't like it. It's like, please stop. Also on the screen there, the Lucky Cyan shot, damn, that screen wallpaper is really good. Like Lucky Cyan, some filtering Photoshop in on that. That looks great. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, then they're like, what the hell is happening indeed? Can we talk about DJ Shindig? Can we talk about him and his abilities? I immediately thought of, there is a superhero. I don't know if is it Marvel? I feel like it's Marvel adjacent. Her name is Jessica. What show is that off of? What show is that off of? Or I don't think. Wait, it is from. Okay, so from Jessica. What is her name? She is like, okay, I'm trying to find the Marvel. Jessica Jones. Okay, right? Correct? Yes. Jessica Jones is the series. DJ Shindig's ability is giving me vibes of Purple Man from that series. And Purple Man, he's played by David Tennant as the villain of that series. So Purple Man, I mean, it's going to spoil the series a little bit, but not too much. Purple Man's abilities is he can tell you what to do. And you have to do what he says, which is a terrifying ability to do what someone tells you to do and have no autonomy or control of your body. That is horror. That is terrifying. That is scary. Don't like it. And so DJ Shindig's ability is to like make you vibe and just be destructive and do what he says. That's pretty terrifying. I'm very much could see why he would become like the #1 hero immediately, because like if you're just vibing and you're just like jamming with him, like of course you'd enjoy it, but the fact that he can tell you what to do is really scary and immediately makes him a threat. I'm like, here I thought DJ Shindig was going to be like a ridiculous hero that was just stepping in. No, he's pretty threatening. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, great. Meanwhile, let's go back to the Hall of Heroes here and talk about old Rock showing up. We just got a notification. So Mr. Shang is going to be there and the CEO of FOMO, Mr. Zach. I freaking love Mr. Zach. Mr. Zach is... I imagine myself as Rock as a millennial, and Mr. Zach is every Gen Z kid and Gen Alpha kid. Just being like, bitch, you old, you unk. And I'm just like, So I live for Zach. His like, just like eclectic fashion, the drip, and then just the shade that he throws Rock, which is very deserved. Very deserved. Rock deserves all the shade thrown at him. And he's like, I thought the elderly went to bed early. I was like, oh my God, love it. And of course, Rock is like, I hate you kids. Only children live in the past. And Zach's like, oh, you just talking about my age? Also, the Togepi shoes, living. Everything about Zach's like wardrobe is so fascinating. So, Zach is the CEO of FOMO, which is the social media app as well. It's like the TikTok equivalent, which does not surprise me that this is what Mr. Zach looks like. And he's like, have you gotten closer to your ideals? So, Mr. Zach seems to know what Rock is aspiring to do. And he comments that DJ Shindig had terminated the contract. And Mr. Zach is like, well, yes, he's a product of that era and the first hero born on FOMO's platform. So we see him like back in the day, like being this DJ. Who would have thought at the time that a DJ could garner so many followers with his crazed rhythms? He became the hero who obtained title X the fastest. I am surprised in a way that, again, this is kind of harkening back to Lucky Cyan. And I know I'm flogging the dead horse here, but hear me out. He was a DJ. He was just a DJ, and his sick beats and sick rhythms were getting everybody vibing, and it skyrocketed his trust value to where he became the top-ranked hero the fastest. Just by being a DJ. Like, he doesn't seem like... There's no hint from this conversation that DJ Shindig was a DJ, became a hero, and then became X. It seems like he just kept being a DJ and became X, and then Mr. Zach was like, we're going to make you a hero. You just keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to skyrocket you to X. I'm like, we're not in reinventing the wheel. So, in my mind, I'm like, Mickey, you have the model in front of you. You have the model. Like, DJ Shindig is a prime example of how you can quickly rise to the rank of X. But you have an idol who seems very similar in that vein to DJ Shindig. You're gonna reinvent the wheel. It's right there. The formula's right there. You know it's successful. Why aren't you doing it? What the fudge are you doing? So I find that interesting. Although I wonder, since DJ Shindig rose up to X and then fell, if to give Mickey the benefit of the doubt, which is something that we don't likely want to do often in this series, to give Mickey the benefit of the doubt, maybe he saw the DJ Shindig model and was like, yeah, he got to the rank of X, but then how did he maintain that, right? Like, because, rock stars and musical trends and everything ebbs and flows. Like, real talent, like, over the ages, there are some bands and some singers that have maintained their notoriety and their respect over time, and they're considered timeless artists. But then there are trends and things that kind of have dips and stuff, and they do like the 30-year cycle. So like EDM and like hardcore rave music, like in the 2010s, that was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. But then it started to like fade out into trap music and different music. So like those kind of genres have their heyday and then they go in cycles. So maybe Mickey was like, I need to have something that's not just going to cycle, but that has more longevity to it than just getting a quick rank to X. But I don't know. Mickey seems like the kind of guy that he'd want something very quickly and efficiently, so why wouldn't you use the model? But then, of course, maybe Boa and Queen weren't going to be all about that. Maybe it was too much trouble to go this route with Cyan. I don't know. Anyway, my point is, DJ Shindig is the prime model that I was thinking of with Lucky Cyan. I'm like, this is how you do it. And DJ Shindig is the prime way of showing that, yes, that's how you do. That's a record no one has broken even now. Even poor X has not broken such a record. I don't even know how X's trust value works. I don't know how that works. Do people just like, whoa, cool, mysterious dude, here's my trust. I don't know how that works for him. But yeah, I also kind of definitely feel for DJ Shindig a little bit, because he seems like the has-been hero that he and OG Esol seem to have a similar vein of, we were popular and now that popularity has faded, except with Esol, I feel like with his character, he never quite totally faded from the limelight. He kept there and kept his popularity, whereas DJ Shindig seems like his time faded and now he's trying to cling to that once viralness that he had. I'm really surprised they showed us what was beneath the disco ball, because I didn't think they would. They didn't show us Esol, so but interesting. And honestly, he didn't age that much, so that's curious. But yeah, just making everybody, I bring the party wherever I go. Destroy your sorrows. Well, and by destroy your sorrows, I mean tear shit up. I could see maybe his powers causing some strife and issues. So Zach is like, but we have to leave some things in the past. So DJ Shindig's contract termination is the completion of our first phase. So that very much feels like tech bro CEO talk. Like Mr. Zach seems like the tech bro, where he's just like, yeah, we like finished with phase 1 of FOMO and now we're like moving on to phase 2 and this is what we're gonna do. Like, he just gives that like surfer dude cyber tech bro vibes. I do like his character though. I like that he throws it back at Rock, who needs it back. And then so they establish this differing philosophies between the two of them of, Rock thinks, he's like, you shouldn't basically it reminds me of, Rock is very much like, you need to micromanage and control your heroes with an iron fist, like I'm doing with Esol, Palpatine style. And Mr. Zach is just letting his heroes kind of do whatever, and he kind of talks down at him for that. But Mr. Zach's like, no, it's just not my style. That wouldn't be objective or fair. It would go against the notion that everyone can be a hero. I could see why back in episode 4, I'm pretty sure that Zach was one of the CEOs that they were like, oh, we've got to get him to try to sign Lin Ling. Because Lin Ling seems to be the embodiment of everything that Zach is wanting out of a hero in his organization. He's like, everyone has a chance. But Rock says, aren't those grassroots and those scandals ruining the very title of hero? So I don't think Rock is disagreeing with Zach, but he is saying, like, you can't just let anyone become a hero. Because if everyone is a hero, then the title of hero itself will lose value and not have meaning. And then what will we do as CEOs, right? It's one of those things like, you know, he's like socialism, everyone being a hero, we can't have that. Then we won't have, you know, heroes will lose their value. Also, from this screenshot, it looks like Mr. Zach needs to sleep because he has all these like bags under his eyes. So here's the council, the meeting. So Mr. Zero and Mr. Rock are over here on the very end of the table. Dr. Lowe, does Dr. Lowe not get a seat at the table since he's just there talking in the center? Does he just get invited to share his insights to all the CEOs and then he's told to leave? Like, thank you, Glimmer Doctor. Now go back to your lab. Bye-bye. But we have, okay, so we have Mickey. We have, presumably Mr. Liu is not under the table next to Mickey right now. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I'm sorry. And then we have Mr. Shang. We have a third one, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 organizations. We're finally going to make Whiteboard Goon, my Whiteboard Coon deserve to be here. So we have 11 CEOs plus, Dr. Lowe. Yep, Dr. Lowe. Yep. So we got them on here. Interesting. 11 is a weird number. 11 is an odd number. Okay. But we know Mickey, we know Mr. Shang, we know Rock, we know Mr. Zach. We know them in all of this. And I like that Mr. Zach's like, sorry, it took me long enough in the bathroom. Mickey, I just want to like punch Mickey in the face. Mr. Shang looks like he'd rather be anywhere else right now. Mr. Shang looks like he'd rather be doing anything else. Then there's this guy that looks like he's a professor, a man that looks like he's a magician. So there's that. I want to see what the others look like. It's interesting. Mr. Shang just looks like he would rather be anywhere else. He would not want to be at this meeting. He looks like he is still in mourning years after losing his child. Well, I guess, how long has it been? Also, does Mr. Shang know Mr. Rock's involvement in his son's death? Does he know all of that? If he knows all of that, that would be crazy. But we don't know if he knows all of that. So, So everybody's gathered to talk about the Breakthrough Development and Research Project Zero that began last year. Okay, so this is year 39. So year 39 is the current year in the episode. Okay. And then in year 38, we began the Project Zero development, research and development. Okay. Which year 38 would have been the same year that we had the stuff with Esol go down, the same stuff with Lucky Cyan, and also the orphanage. Okay. So we've got that. That's all connecting to it, right? Okay. Great. And then right now we are in year 41, which is the present as far as we are allowed to know. Okay. So this has been going on for a little bit. Fear has been a thing for a little bit. Okay. So we got this guy. We've got this woman with the crazy hair. Looks like Tilda Swinton. And we have this other man. Okay. Everybody got like the same CEO haircut. They went to the same salon. Clearly. This project's been carried out in secret, which is why you're all here on such short notice. And Professor Lowe is going to go into detail. When he showed these test tubes with the fear, I thought they were going to be like the tubes you see at a bank. Like this size. This size of test tubes. I thought that's what it was going to be like, you know, Jurassic Park size tubes. No, they're like the size of Zordon from Power Rangers. I was like, what? That's a big liability. That's a big risk. You know, as someone that's lived through a pandemic, I'm like, this is a very risky thing to be doing, sirs. So they've stored this research substance and conducted research on it for a year. Yeah, that looks dangerous as hell. Nope. I'm like, I would lock the doors. I'd put some headphones on. I'd get some earwax in my ears, do whatever. So the question is, DJ Shindig was commissioned. We know now that DJ Shindig has been hired by the Spotlight organization and its leader. Which, okay, did the leader sound like, Did the leader sound kind of like nice? Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? The leader's voice sounded super familiar, and I was like, is this Nice's voice? How does that even work? What is up with that? But what? The leader's voice sounded like a voice that I've heard before in the show, and I was like, it couldn't be Lin Ling, but I'm like, what? So I don't know, but their voice sounds super familiar, and I'm like, and it sounds like a young man, which makes me think it sounds like Nice, but I haven't heard Nice's voice in like 12 episodes. So I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't want to know answers because that would be spoilers, but I'm very confused because they sound like a voice that I've heard in the show before. So, okay. DJ Shindig comes in looking for the tubes of fear because that's what he's been after according to his contract. And No is like, I'm going to go confront this creep. She's drunk. I love she's like, I am not wasted. I am totally fine. To be fair, her being drunk might have saved her from getting, taken over by DJ Shindig. Maybe that's maybe his powers didn't totally like take people over entirely when they were drunk. I don't know. Could have been a red herring. But yeah. And then we have the suit that she uses to go and save the day. I like Lolly's character a lot. She's a lot of fun, and I like her tenacity in this. Also, the fact DJ Shindig just has some crazy moves. His powers are pretty wild. Also, I love the gloves where he can turn up the amp. That's just really creative. His whole outfit and powers are really creative. I like it. So yeah, DJ Shindig has no clue what to do. At first, also, he's kind of narcissistic and egotistical, which checks out because he was once the #1 hero. And he's like, what are you, a fan? Also, not very tall because NuoNuo is not very tall. So, dude, are we compensating? So, yeah, I love that she's able to try to grab the disco helmet off of him and blames him for harassing and stalking her. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So DJ Shindig is not the stalker. I think Ghostblade is, but I don't know why or why he would be dressed up as that creeper. Like, what was going on? I don't know. Either way, she manages to distract him long enough for Lolly to show up. And for Lolly to show up and try to save the day. I love her I love the upgrades on the armor. And her stepping in to save NuoNuo. It's like, as if I couldn't ship them more. I think it's so cute. I like this better. I like it's like the little cat ears. It feels like Chappie 2.0. Love that. It's a perfect opportunity to test it in a fight. I like that we have two masked heroes fighting each other. It's great. So everybody's like, the lab's getting broken in. This is maybe one of the craziest scenes in the whole episode. Because you've just established there's these giant test tubes of fear, which Mr. Lowe knows the dangers of, and you establish that could, put the entire civilization in danger. And this guy's like, hey, there's been multiple explosions, people's lives could be at risk, everything. He's like, it's an emergency situation, we need heroes. And everyone there just is like, okay, guess I gotta call my hero. So like Mickey's like, of all the times I have an incident, like people's lives are at risk and there's like potentially millions that could be affected, and they're like, I guess we'll just call it. And Mr. Shang just like, I guess I'll call a hero. Like, what the fudge? And then to top it all off, Zach's like, excuse me, do you think I could post about it on FOMO? Like, do you think I could release it on Twitter, on TikTok? Like, what the fudge? It's a very good representation of the current climate and just how out of touch CEOs and the tech bros and like those in the upper echelon of society, how out of touch they are and how apathetic and disconnected they are. They just don't give a shit about anybody but themselves and their own success. And it's kind of wild to see this show be so on the nose and so unironic and serious about it. And it's not being played. I mean, the FOMO thing is hilarious, but it's kind of played as a joke. And Mr. Rock is like, the look Mr. Rock gives Zach being like, bitch, TikTok, really now of all times? He seems to be the one taking it seriously, but he's like, I'll contact Ghostblade. And then Ghostblade isn't answering his phone because he's possibly the creep. And then Zach's like, your Iron Fist management isn't quite perfect, is it? Bitch! Burn! Burn! You gonna have Isol come over with an extinguisher to take out that burn you just got? Oh! Ooh! I also think it's interesting that he called Ghostblade and not Isol. I think it's interesting he called Ghostblade and not Isol, because Isol is insanely fast. That's what he's known for. So why wouldn't you call, which Ghostblade is, as we come to find out, Ghostblade is in the top 5 right now. So in the year of 39, Ghostblade is in the top 5. But why would you call the top 5 hero instead of Isol that's like your number 1 or whatever? So I don't know exactly if Isol's number 1 right now, but seriously, why would you not call him? So we go back to Loli. Loli's fight with the guys was really cute. I mean, I'm glad she knocked them all out. I'm glad they weren't able to like rip off her helmet or something. Again, the fight gives you the expectation that something's going to happen where she's going to have like her helmet ripped off and DJ Shindig's going to use his powers, whatever. But her armor manages to repel a lot of the attacks. I also kind of liked the idea that, you know, I liked the idea that it wasn't just the armor that was repelling the attacks, but also, I don't know, there was something to her, you know, her being this female hero that's been known for certain things about her appearance and then being able to repel certain things. I don't know. It felt like a yay feminism moment in a way, and it's hard for me to explain why, but her being able to resist the attack from DJ Shindig, who has aged rather well. Good for him. Good for him. He's like, I'm making a peak comeback. And I love that NuoNuo's like, I got your face memorized, so I know you're the creep. Show him who's boss. That's a great shot. That will probably be the thumbnail. That's probably going to be the thumbnail of her with like the face shining through that. That's such a good moment. Yes. And so yeah, I like DJ Shindig's look. He looks like Lieutenant Surge from Pokemon. He looks like Lieutenant Surge. Love that for him. So he tried. I also think what I mean by like the feminism aspect of it, I get it, is that DJ Shindig is a little bit kind of chauvinist, and he's just like, oh, are you a fan? Oh, girl, you're gonna go crazy for me, and like all this stuff. And I like it that these two women who are probably not interested in any guys are, you know, resisting him and going, no, actually, we're not into you, so no. I liked that. That was fun. That was a good twist. And then the fight between the two of them was really good. DJ Shindig's such a goof. He's a chauvinist and kind of a pig, but I kind of love him. I kind of like him and Mr. Zach in this episode. They're a fun time. Fun villains. Fun villains. I like some whimsy to my villainy. I like a little bit of whimsy here. Also, his power's terrifying, so he can back it up. But Loli's like, how dare you? What kind of hero does that? What kind of hero twerks? Get out of here. Like, he wasn't doing that, though, to be fair. And you were ranked number 1. What a disgrace to heroes everywhere. Loli's showing him what for. And he's like, wait, stop. No more hitting. Why are you destroying this place? And why have you been hitting on NuoNuo? He's like, why isn't my power working on her? And he talks about how his trust value is tanked, but it's still a substantial number. Yeah, it's like in the hundreds of thousands. Still. That's crazy. Crazy. And so then he tries to use his power. I like that he gives himself, when he calls it like a strong dose of dopamine, it like changes the color of his jacket and everything. I'm all here for it. He went from Baja Blast to like Code Red Mountain Dew in like 3.5. I love that for DJ Shindig. I really am glad he's not dead, but I worry about him becoming a villain. What did that say when he attacked her on the screen? What did that say? It says death hazard. Okay, so like her armor is about to fail. Okay, gotcha. The fight between the two of them was really good. I liked the fight. I thought it was engaging. I thought they both held their own pretty well during it. I honestly was waiting for a hero to show up during it, so I'm glad that that didn't happen. It became just her battle. So then NuoNuo looks for the armor, right? And it says here, what did that say before? Something was empty. It was like, there were some vitals there. She went down and searched and said, yeah, weapon, missile, empty. So there's no missiles. But she does have a bat. A high-powered baseball bat. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Maybe Ghostblade or the Stalker was going after NuoNuo because she works in the research and development and she has access to the armory. Maybe that's why she's being targeted, because she's not a hero herself, so she doesn't have powers or trust value abilities. So maybe they're targeting her because she's got access to the lab, but she's somebody that could be taken advantage of and would not, have high security around her, which now she does, now because she has Loli around her. That's totally changed. Interesting. I also like the idea of the bat, like once it's loaded, going straight to her. That's awesome. I freaking love that. Also, giving me Harley Quinn vibes with it. Who doesn't love a girl with a giant Louisville Slugger to just take him out? That was great. He's lucky she hit him in his belly. She's lucky she hit him in his midriff, not his face, because that would have crushed his jaw probably. And then she inadvertently crashes him into the tubes. Crazy talk. I was like, we had worked so hard to keep them tubes from getting leaking the fear out, and it ends up happening anyway. I don't know if she's going to face repercussions next episode when Dr. Lowe, when everything calms down and he's like, who is responsible when they view the footage again. I don't know if she's going to get reprimanded because she did cause him to break the tubes. It is her fault the tubes broke. But in the same vein as NuoNuo kind of states, he was going to do it anyway, and people would have gotten hurt otherwise because they still would have been under his control. So the same thing happened that was always going to happen, but at least the people were kept safe in all of this. And I was like, this is so cute. I'm definitely shipping NuoNuo and Loli. I ship them together so hardcore. But yeah, all the fear, connecting and soaking into him. Yeah, this fear that clearly is an alien substance. Clearly, fear and trust are alien substances. Let's just talk about that. So we've found out that fear and trust are these two substances that may be tied to an alien crash. They said all those years ago, but let's be real. It's the incident that happened 28 years ago. Or the incident that happened at the beginning of it all. Or at year zero. Maybe not 28 years ago, but at year zero, there was an alien crash. Imagine, an alien ship crashed, and the substances of fear and trust were released that have something probably to do with aliens. Basically, aliens. And it is connected with humanity and changed their entire lives. Maybe, possibly. That's the vibes that I'm getting. That's the vibes I'm getting. Of course it's aliens. So yeah, I do feel for DJ Shindig. He was just trying to, do a job. Just doing his day-to-day, I am glad that they all got out. And at first, Mr. Lowe is like, why is my daughter here? Why is she in a hero suit? What is going on? And he tells her not to be a hero, but then, she saved the day. And she's been, doing this the entire time. So, are you really going to tell her not to be a hero? You should have had some inkling this was going to happen. So yeah, Ghostblade, who has a very bitchin' look. Also, MG's top hero, rank 5 in the commission. Okay, so Isol is not the top ranked hero in their commission. Interesting. So Isol must be ranked. Oh, he's top 10, isn't he? Yeah, he's in the top 10, right? Perhaps, maybe, possibly. But I'd have to go back and look. I'm sure somebody in the comments will let me know where Isol was when all this is going down in this episode. But yeah, no, he looks like the Creeper. The hair looks exactly like the Creeper, and it would make sense. But why is he stalking her? But why? Also, I'm just saying, Mr. Rock has a thing for villains with masks over their face. Yeah, he looked at her for a hot second. What? Why are you targeting her? I don't understand. So he went to go clean everything up while Mr. Lowe is like, you can't become a hero. And NuoNuo's like, well, no, Loli saved all of us. Please let her be an actual hero. And he's like, I'm worried. And she's like, you're worried about this, aren't you? So we find out that her armor has the ability to control fear. Ghostblade comes in, but he sees that he goes in and sees that Mr. Shindig is gone. So he wasn't able to do his job. I wonder why he sent Ghostblade. I wonder what his ability is. I guess we'll find out. So a little portion of fear leaked out. A little bit of a biohazard got into the air, but that's nothing to worry about. No big deal. Sure, no big deal. Makes me think of like how many CEOs. It makes me think of how many CEOs like know when shit goes down in the real world, and they're just like, everybody will be fine, totally fine, nothing to worry about. What's going to happen? I also think it's interesting that only these 3 CEOs that are the heads, unless they're like the head of the commission as a whole, they're the only ones that get to see what Mr. Lowe is showing them. A material that completely can suppress fear. I gathered this material from the wreckage of an alien spaceship that crashed many years ago. Okay. Okay, sure thing. So we now have, in the year 39, this armor that is from the material of the ship that can suppress fear. Why is it that was 2 years ago? That was 2 years prior to the present. Why doesn't every superhero's outfit have that built into it, right? We neglected one thing. The alien material defies the laws of energy in our world, and that includes fear and even trust. Wouldn't that mean the powers brought about by fear and by trust would be useless? Oh, okay. So I guess, in a sense, Lowe's spacesuit was able to suppress DJ Shindig because his powers weren't affecting her. It kind of neutralized them, but then it wasn't... Her trust had no factor in this. That's kind of one of the things with Loli's entire arc in this series that is sort of unique, is that we haven't seen trust value affect Loli at all. She starts out the arc with like nothing, and she has like no trust value at all because of her cute appearance. She uses technology at her disposal to make this superhero suit, but it doesn't really rely on anything to do with trust value. So is she technically a hero by the standards of the CEOs and the Hero Commission? Or is she just kind of like this agent acting with this armor? Like, in all actuality, the crazy thing is you can kind of see the writing on the wall, because the way that they talk about is that the armor makes the trust and fear neutralized. Well, the CEOs aren't going to want to use that. No, they're not going to want to use that. I'm going to take back what I said earlier of why don't the heroes have all this embedded into their outfits. They're not going to want to use this armor. No, because they're like, oh, well, yeah, we can suppress the fear, but our entire basis of our system that we have in place in society and have had for 40 years relies on trust. If this armor neutralizes it, then we won't need to exist anymore. They're not going to use it. They're not going to advance this at all. Maybe they'll let Loli use it, but they're not going to make that widespread. I don't like where this is headed. Because yeah, you would think, wouldn't that make it useless? That's inconceivable. And he's like, well, by using alien materials, we could isolate the features of trust and fear. We could have more opportunities to refine them into medications. Manufacturable medications. And they're like, with that, to conduct a secret survey of the wreckage immediately. So he wants to conduct a survey of the wreckage. They talk about maybe making medications to neutralize. That's dangerous as well, because what that suggests is that if you marketed it to the people, what you would do is they would tell the population and say, hey, this fear, it's really dangerous, and you need to take this medication so that you don't get it and you don't let fear take control of you. But by taking the medication, you're also not letting your trust values rise. So essentially, what the CEOs and these corporations for the Hero Commission could do is they could control who gets access to being a hero. Who gets to be a hero? If we don't want you to be a hero, we're going to convince you to take this medication. So it's going to suppress your trust values and keep it from getting too crazy and out of hand and you becoming a hero that we can't control. But if we need a hero, we can just get you off of it. It's just giving the idea of using the materials to do whatever you want with them, it's getting a little bit manipulative, and I'm a little concerned about that. Meanwhile, imagine the spotlight. The spotlight on DJ Shindig. And he's got all this fear, these fear particles on him. I'm in pain and so hopeless. Don't forget me, I'm DJ Shindig. We'll never forget you, DJ Shindig. Like, that's his fear of being forgotten. His fear of being lost in the limelight. I'm the fastest hero to reach the top of the commission rankings. And then who shows up but this guy with this sword/cane? I did what you asked of me, and I found out what kind of dealings they've got going on. Find a solution for me. Don't let them torture me anymore. What in the world is in that cane? That is wild. This man looks like a mage. I'm begging you, please, just give me one spotlight. Yeah, so who be this? I have a solution for you. Why is everybody masked? Why does that voice sound familiar? What is going on? Ah! So they give him permission to survey the spaceship wreckage. And he's like, I'm going right away. But right now you need to finish an even more important mission. And we don't get to see what it is because it's a cliffhanger. We have to wait till the next episode. Ah! Dang it! Dang it! So, to be fair, it could be that the professor has been researching the wreckage and working on stuff for up until the present time with Lin Ling in the year 41. I mean, because research and development takes time. It took them an entire year to just isolate the fear particles and start discussing them. So there's a very good chance that this whole idea about fear and trust medication and stuff like that and the armor, we haven't seen that in Lin Ling's time yet because it's still being researched and developed. So that could be something that carries over to when we get back to the present time and figure out what we do. It's something that could carry over. Dr. Lowe could still be working on stuff in the present, and Loli could still be in the present as well with her armor and everything else. It's setting up some really good things, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm also terrified. I don't know who this Spotlight organization person is. I thought they sounded nice, but I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I want to see what's going to happen next episode with DJ Shindig, what's going to be going down with the wreckage, what's going on with Ghostblade, what's going on with NuoNuo and Loli. I really like all of these characters in this arc, and I need to know what's going to happen next. So, anyway, but I will wait till I see the comments for episodes 12 and 13 at least, because I'm going to be going out of town for a few days after I record this episode. So, I'm not going to get too far ahead, but I'm going to be wanting to watch as soon as I get back. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please no spoilers, or just spoiler tag and let me not see the spoiler comments if I'm on the right track, if I'm totally off base, if you know what I don't know. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And I'll be back very soon with more of To Be Hero X. Bye.